What's going on YouTube? Pistol Pete here. Today I got a budget one for you. It's a good one. It's one that I've been kind of excited to do. I see it. There's very few content creators that I've seen so far do actual review. I mean, I've seen them do tabletop reviews and show it on camera and talk a little bit about it, but just more of like, look at the knife type of thing. Nothing really that goes over specs or details, and definitely no actual test. So I'm kind of excited because this is one that to me, it looks cool. I mean, functionality wise, maybe not so much for practical use, but definitely for just the sheer look of it, it's pretty damn badass. So let's get to it. Now, I got to start off by saying the sheath sucks. It's a piece of shit. The sheath is just one of those. It does vinyl sheaths that just look like crap. So let's start off here. So let me show you. The knife doesn't even fit into the sheath. So I think what they did was they put the money into the blade and then didn't take any time to put any money into the actual sheath itself. I mean, it's a fairly thick vinyl. I mean, it's not I wouldn't say the sheath itself is too cheap for a vinyl sheath. Okay, let's get that straight. And not for a sheath in general, but just for a vinyl sheath, it's not too bad. I mean, the stitching is pretty good. It's not too bad, but it doesn't fit the knife. So this was like a sheath, looks like not meant for the knife. But I have to say, so far, without testing it, without actually doing anything to it yet, the actual knife itself is actually pretty bitchin', and actually fairly decently, not as cheap looking as I thought. Not as cheap looking as I thought, and so I mean, for the fit and finish is actually not that bad, not that bad at all. For what I thought it was going to be. The only issue I see is right in here. If you can see right there, it's a little bit of a, issue with the mending here to the guard here. It looks like a little bit like they didn't shave it down enough right here in the air. But that's pretty much the only spot on this blade I see that looks flawed. Other than that, it looks pretty damn fit and finish is pretty good. Now, drum roll, $22 blade. This thing cost me $22 on eBay. So for $22, I would say so far the fit and finish isn't that bad. Now, that's not saying much without actually testing it, so we're gonna have to do that. But so far, just on first impressions and first look, it is a pretty good looking knife. Now, this one is made by Masters, and that's another crazy thing that I don't know. Maybe someone could tell me in the comment section if they know. This exact same looking style, from the handles to the guard to the blade to everything. Even some of the even the dimensions are made by 3 different companies. So I don't know if they get this. There's one manufacturer that makes it for all 3, or who in fact actually makes this and they just put their own brand name on it. But I've seen this exact same knife made by Timber Rattler called the Sawback Bowie. This one here is made by the Masters USA, and this one, and mind you, it's called Masters USA, but it is made in China. I'll show you right there. Made in China. And it does just say stainless right there. And it doesn't specify what type of stainless, whether it's 440, 420. It doesn't say. It just says stainless China for the description. But going back to the story, so I see Timber Rattler makes one called the Sawback Bowie. This one here is just called the Masters Hunter Bowie, wooden handle Hunter's Bowie. And then I also see another manufacturer, the exact same design, everything, called the Gator Bowie. And that one is by Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes Gator Bowie. And they're actually all absolutely identical. Absolutely identical, all of them. And like I said, and I've seen very few reviews on this. And when I do see them, they're just showing it. That's it. This one here has altogether, the full length is 16.5 inches. The blade length is 11.75 inches. Handle length is 4.75 inches. And it is 4 millimeters thick, which is fairly thin, right? Fairly thin spine there. And the tip is super thin. You guys can pick that up. I mean, that is super, super thin. So I don't know about the tip. We're gonna do tip testing, but I'm not gonna do any prying because that will snap for sure. Even if this was a high quality steel, I think that would snap. This thin that tip is. I mean, it'd be a super good piercer because of that. I mean, man, it'll slide right into some flesh or or you know, something else, a punching bag or Bigfoot. But as far as so I mean, it's pretty slender tip though, so that I can see that being weak. The blade did come freaking sharp. I'll give them that. They put an edge, a really good edge on this blade, so it is fairly sharp. Again, they give you this fake saw back here. You know, it's not sharp. It's dull. I mean, I don't even think you can do notching with it. I mean, it's, you know, it's they're. I think it's just for looks, totally for looks. You know, and I think, you know, sawbacks on knives are kind of dumb anyway. I mean, it's cool. It looks cool. Gives it a cool look, and, you know, gives it a mean look. You know, when you have it in your hand, you know, little sawback on there. I mean, I guess if you get stabbed pretty deep with this and you yank out, you're doing some ripping too. So I guess that could be a feature. But as far as actual using it as a practical saw, no. This is just a faux saw back here. The handles looks like they are removable by a star key. It is full tang. As you can see there, full tang construction all the way around. And so that's kind of nice. I like that. And the guard seems fairly on there. It seems fairly on there. It's not wiggling. No, so far nothing in the blade wiggles or moves. So let me show you real quick how sharp this thing is. Let me do a little bit of a hair cutting first, and then we'll go paper. Damn, this thing is sharp. I mean, out of the box, damn. I'll give it that. This thing is a razor blade. It came really, really sharp, which is surprising for a budget Bowie, because most budget Bowies, I'd say 90% of them come inconsistently sharp, or they have a lot of flaws. This one, I would say the fit and finish on this one has really little flaws on it, surprisingly, for 22 bucks. So, but like I said, we still have to check out the test and see how it holds up. Check out paper here though. I mean, obviously it's gonna be butter because how sharp, you saw it shave my hair like a razor blade. So this, I mean, this I know for sure is just nice and slow. Look at that. That thing is sharp. Man, that is crazy. I can see right now, without even testing it though, this would make an awesome home defense knife. You know, if you're not gonna even beat this against wood, or just if you're just strictly using this for home defense, I mean, this thing would be. See that? Man, it's super sharp. I'd have to say this is the sharpest budget blade I've ever gotten. So for a home defense knife, yeah, totally would do the job. Totally do the job. You know, if you want to strictly just use it for that, I would highly recommend that already without even slamming it into wood or anything else yet. So I did find something funny. That's kind of funny. I did break my timber rattler Bowie knife a long time ago from neglect. I left it out, used it as a thrower, and left it out in the weather, and tried fixing it and tried taking rust off, and messed up the heat treat, so it broke. So I still have the sheath for it, and I was like, I wonder if this sheath would work for this knife. And lo and behold, it actually fits pretty damn good. So I think I'll use this sheath instead of the nylon sheath if I do decide to carry this and, you know, take it out, bang around with it. So yeah, I mean, the timber rattler sheath. So I mean, this isn't by means no great sheath, but it's better than the damn nylon one here that they provide with it that barely fits the knife. So yeah, that's just something to note if you have one, and an extra one or something. But all right, let's get going to the next part of this video. I'm gonna cut this bottle and this can and see how easy this gets through it. I'm gonna do a back cut with this one. Man. It didn't really surprise me though, how sharp that was, slight cutting my hair and cutting that paper up. Clean cut. All right, let's do the bottle. This time I'll do a forward cut. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah. Man, that thing is sharp. God. Oh man. Again, sharpest budget knife I have ever had. And I got some pretty damn sharp budget knives. You've seen some of my reviews, like the Renegade Bowie and even the Cisco Bowie. But this one, I think, this one's sharper than that. Let's move on. All right, we're at the door now. Let's See how that edge holds up at the door here and see how that handle feels. Yeah, it's a pretty good chopper. And the handle feels really comfortable. Surprisingly, it feels really comfortable. Yeah, it's pulling chunks out. Look at that. With ease. All right, let's check out that edge. Okay, any folding or chipping or rolling? No. You know what I did notice though? Guard came loose, but I've seen budget guards all the way up to high-end guards come loose when you start banging these around. You know, and the only way to really fix these when you do that is to take them off, and you could put some epoxy in here, you know, and get it, get it tight that way, let it seal. But it's gonna happen. I mean, even when price, like I said, even pricey buoys, that happens. I've had, like I said, from all ranges, so that didn't surprise me. But handles held up great. It felt great in the hand. Really felt really good. And that edge, absolutely flawless. That I can see here, I don't see any damage at all. No rolling, no chipping, no folding. So that's good. Let's move on. Okay, at the log here, we're gonna go ahead and do a 4-foot drop and see how straight it falls and see if anything else comes loose. Try that again. Dropping pretty straight. Let's do a hard downward throw. One more time. All right, let's see. Looks like, I don't know if it's an illusion or it looks like maybe the tip bent slightly. Let's see, turn it that way for you guys. You can see there, such a thin tip. That's the only thing. I wish they reinforced it or made a little thicker tip on that. I mean, ever so slightly, ever like tiny, like bend, but nothing too dramatic. And it's still on there pretty good. Other than that, I could see just a slight bend. But like I said, I think it's just too thin of a tip. All right, let's move on next. Let's see if I could do a push cut here. Almost, yeah, there you go. So yeah, you can, a little bit of effort. You can do a push cut. All right, let's do a saw. Yeah, definitely sharp enough for a saw. Let's check this out. Chopping, easy. Light chop. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's do one like this now. And you have a lot of real estate here to slide down the blade with, so this should be fairly easy. Oh yeah, easy. Really easy. Okay, let's do a little light batoning and see how it goes through this. Now this thin of a blade, especially I told you with that super thin tip, you're not gonna want to go way out here. You'll end up breaking the tip off or bending it. So I'm gonna start right here. Get a better baton here. Here we go. Something with some more gusto, right? That one was too hollow. There we go. Right into the knot. Look at that. It's pounding right into that knot. Try that again here. There we go. Oh, here we go. Right where that knot was at. You guys can see it. Right where that knot was at. Man, folded it. I got a warp there. I got a bow in the metal. Wow, this is the first time I've had one fail this bad. As far as, you know, this was batoning. I did hit a knot, okay, to be fair, you know, for this budget blade. So, definitely can't baton with it. I did, like I said, being so thin. It says 4 millimeters, but I think it's thinner than even 4 millimeters. You know, so, yeah, there you go. You got your first fill. And then I did see here, too, handles coming, see that right there? You guys can see the handles are sliding down a little bit. They're not, it doesn't feel loose. That's the thing. They don't feel loose in the hand. It's just sliding down though. They are sliding down. So, and it's not, I mean, they're not loose, but they moved out of place just by doing that little bit of batoning. So, yeah, so definitely not meant for that. All right, do some carving here. See how it shaves for feather sticking here. Oh, it's doing pretty good. Definitely doing pretty good. I would say it's doing really good. Look at that. I mean, this blade is sharp. It's just, man, I wish they did the heat treat better, and I wish, you know, it was better, maybe better still. You know, and again, I was doing batoning with this thin blade, which, you know, no excuse. They should have made it a little better, but for 22 bucks, it's kind of what you expect, right? Let me grab a another log here. This one's pretty hard. Hold on real quick. See if I can find something else we can make a there we go. See if I can make a tent spike or a pit spike. Yep, that one came to a point pretty quick. You know, let's see this side. This is all old petrified wood here. So this stuff is not too good to make that, but this knife is sharp though, so yeah, it's doing it. Pretty easy doing it, pretty easy. Yeah. So yeah, you can create all that with it. Ice cream man. Good thing I'm in my backyard. Scare him seeing me messing around with a big blade here. I'm gonna give it a thrust into this punching bag here, and we'll see how good it's. And you know, see that tip did bend a little bit. Let's see here though. Oh yeah. I mean, it's really good for thrusting, and then see how it's getting caught up on that. I mean, if you pulled that out, man, that would hurt to get stabbed with that. Just give it a slash here. Straight open. Man. Let's give it a throw at the old stump here. I shouldn't do this, but the knife's already damaged anyways. Not like I'm gonna ruin it any more than it already is. And I'm out 22 bucks. Not out of a bunch, so let's see if this little thin sliver tip can hold up or if it breaks off. Not too bad. Let's see here. Let's try it again. Oops, that fell out. Still, there's a slight bend that already was there. Let's try it again. Chucked it kind of weird. One more time. There's the guard rattling. Man, that's sunk in pretty damn deep though. Look at that. All right, that wraps up my review on this wooden handle Survivor Masters Bowie. So, yeah, it did fail, but you know what? You can see right there, big old huge wave in the blade. Right there where I was batoning. But I did hit a hard ass knot in that log, as you saw. Yes, would a more better quality knife do that? Probably not. Maybe, I mean, I would say probably not, you know, but, and again, this is a thin, I mean, you can see there, it's a thin knife. I mean, 4 millimeters, and I think they're stretching that. I think it's a little thinner than that. It's a thin knife. You know, it's not really meant probably for batoning, but we got to try it, right? You know, for you guys, we got to put it to the test and see if it can do it. Can it do it? We've got the answer. No, it cannot. It's, it will wave on you if you start trying to bend it, you know, slam it into some wood. And that wood there is just, you know, some little thin lumber, old lumber. So nothing even really hardcore. So this definitely wouldn't hold up to any big tasks for batoning. Every other task though, we put it through it did pretty good. I mean, when it comes to, it's super sharp. So for slicey, and that might be the reason why it's so sharp, because of thinness. I mean, because it tapers down pretty thin behind the edge. It's thin, you know, just like a razor blade. But again, just like a razor blade too, you know, you're not going to be doing batoning with a razor blade. It's because it will break or chip or do something like this if you try doing that. So so it's just, you know, I go back to my first statement when I first opened the video and said I still believe this would make a pretty damn good defense knife, you know, for home defense. You know, keep this under your mattress or under your bed if you, so you know, if you can't have a firearm and this is all you could have. I would take this. It's super sharp, super pointy, and you know, I mean, I would one slash with this will open you up pretty damn deep. You know, it's a good slasher damn knife. Super sharp when you're out of the box. You know, if yours comes like this, you'll be really happy with the sharpness. And just know that this isn't a survival hunting knife. This isn't a high-end hunter's knife. You're gonna strictly use this just in case of a no shit situation happens and you need to defend yourself. You know, this would be, you know, something that you could use for 22 bucks. I would still recommend it for that. Handles, and again, it's kind of weird. The handles didn't really come loose, but it did get pushed down a little bit. I mean, the guard's loose, but the handle, I don't know if you could tell, like it kind of right here, it rose up a little bit on that side. I'm not sure if you can see it, but a little bit. It moved just slightly moved. So maybe just from him banging it, shifted it slightly. I mean, I could always loosen those up, realign it, and screw them back down. Little rivets here. So this one is, do you recommend it? Yeah, but only for that application that we talked about for home defense. Because I do give it credit for being super sharp. It did come pretty damn, the fit and finish was pretty nice on this before we got started. But again, not a heavy use knife, not a survival knife. Strictly just, and again, it's cool looking. Wall hanger, for sure, wall hanger. But, you know, like Donnie B says, if you ever watch Johnny B, go check out his channel. He always says, you know, some of these wall hangers can be used for practical use, and this one is, I said 50-50. This one here is not for survival, strictly just for home defense. So I'm gonna see. I might even do a video on trying to fix this wave here. I fixed. When you guys saw, I had kind of a wave inside of one of my. Which one was that? Preacher, the Mega Preacher, had a kind of a wave in the very top portion from batoning and hitting, smashing and stuff, and I fixed it by putting in a device and straightening it out and then resharpening it. So I might have to try this with this, so I'm gonna smash it out and then I'm gonna take off the guard. It's a good project knife. I'm gonna take off the guard, take off the handles, and throw a shit ton of epoxy in there and put it all back together, you know, maybe some liquid cement, put it all back together and get this all tight and then smash this down, and I'll just strictly use this, like I said, for slicing tasks. Nothing heavy use. So this is probably even a 420 or something like that, you know. And of course the heat treat obviously isn't that great because you got this, but what can you expect for $20 Bowie knife? You know, the only one I know that's held up that really well from not having shit like this happen is Cisco Bowie knife. That one held up really well. But it's high carbon steel too, you know. So, but that one's a $20 knife, about $22 too, around the same price. That one is the only one that I know that didn't get any type of damage when smashing it around. I use that as a thrower now, and even throwing it and missing the log and flopping onto the cement and, you know, hitting nail. I mean, very, very little minimal damage to that knife, you know. Then when it does go dull from throwing it around, I just resharpen it and it holds a good edge, you know. So I do recommend that. Donnie was know what he was talking about when he recommends that one. So I'd have to agree. I'd have to back that. That one's a good knife. That one is for the price. It's a good knife. And but some of these like this that are thin behind the edge and have that, and then that tip. Let me see if I can show you guys that tip here. Now here, maybe it's an illusion. I started looking at it even more closely. I do not see a bend really too bad. It almost looks like it's not bent. Maybe it's an illusion of the cut of it or something. Well, I thought it bent on me, but if it is, it's a slight bend. But you guys can obviously see how freaking thin that tip is. It's super thin. So definitely, like I said, you don't want to be messing around prying with that tip too much or do anything that's going to put a lot of stress on that tip, because it will break off. I could just tell you right there how thin that is. And by the heat treat, the tip will break off. I can tell you that. But yeah, other than that, like I said, it's a type of knife. So that's it for this one. Please like and subscribe, and until next knife, gun, or whatever.